Hi, my name is Rachel. My hot topic presentation is about the soccer game in Amsterdam that later that night turned to 63 arrests and a lot of injuries and some hospitalizations. Wow. Some of the things I really wanted to explain that were part of like the intercultural communication topics, one being collectivism and individualism. There was a lot of hate towards the Israeli Maccabi for what is going on with Israel and Palestine. And Palestine. So a lot of people, I think social media does a really good job at fueling that fire of, we don't like what your culture or your people are doing, so we're gonna hate you too, even if you don't support what's going on around them. And I think individualism would have really helped in that situation. I think people just are angry. They're angry of what's going on with Palestine, and that's justified. But it doesn't justify hurting another person because of it, because it's not their fault. That's what I thought until I kept reading the article and realized days before, a handful of Israeli Maccabi vandalized Palestinian flags and protested and shouted that we support what the Israeli military is doing, killing children, stuff like that. That doesn't sit well with anybody, honestly. So maybe they thought it was justified, even though it is way too, two different things. We have to think back of what happened in the 1950s with the Holocaust and make sure that history is not repeating itself. Some of the things like cross-cultural communication, it's like a soccer game, honestly. It's a great example. Two rivals who don't like each other's teams and don't agree who has the best team, but they can come together and enjoy a game because they can understand that and they can have knowledge that nothing bad is going to happen. And I think there was a lack of that on the night of November 7th. Some things that are going on in Israel and Palestine. There is a war, and it's been building up over years from the source I've read. First off, they both have two different cultural backgrounds. That's one. Another one is they don't speak the same language, and I think that's a huge problem because you can really misunderstand so many things if you don't know the language and if you don't know how to properly communicate yourself to another country. And next is Israel has a huge, sorry, I'm trying to find the word. They have a bigger military, so they have more of the power and control over the situation. Like I said before, a lot of children were killed in Palestine, and that's heartbreaking and a big part of why I think people thought it was justified to hurt the Israeli Maccabi, but that is just not so. The mayor did a really good job at enforcing the law and making sure people knew that this was not okay, this was a crime, and it's going to be handled like a crime. Because so many people got jumped, she made it a rule, extra security on the grounds, making sure you're not walking with anything that could be a weapon, no covering the face, things like that really help keep the locals, the Jewish community, and the Israelis safe. Racism is going on everywhere. It happens everywhere. And I think we just need to be empathetic and know how to spot when we're being racist or just knowing the social cues and not crossing any lines. And I think being just so disrespectful, jumping them, was just wrong. But this whole article just showed so much collectivism, individualism, racism, and the cross-cultural communication and the lack of it between everyone. Thank you so much. Hope you learned something.